Hello, my name is Artyom Pavlenko, and I'm an MBA student at Rockhurst University. Today we'll be talking about an initiative started by City of Kansas City, Missouri to open up their data to citizens. However, before we dive into this topic, let's identify a couple of terms that have been used in the media over the last several years very actively, which is big data and open data. What are these terms and what do they mean? Let's begin with big data. Big data is a large, complex data set that requires significant computing power to process this data. This data could be publicly or privately owned and may or may not be available for the general population. One of the examples of big data could be store loyalty cards. Stores collect millions of pieces of data about their customers, and this would be a prime example of big data. On the other hand, open data is a data that can be freely used, shared, and built on by anyone, anywhere, for any purpose. The availability of open data has grown significantly with the pressure being placed on public organizations, cities, and states to release their data. Public bodies are among the largest creators and collectors of data in many different domains. So now, we identified big data and open data. Well, where did the movement of open data started? When did it started? In 2008, when President Obama took on the office, he made a commitment to work toward new levels of openness in the government. So how did he achieve this goal? Well, one of the first steps that he did was he started to disclose data to the general population. Since then, the administration has done much to make information about government and how it works more accessible to its citizens. Federal agencies, cities, and states have used technology and various internet platforms in many innovative ways to make information available to its citizens. Openness of data makes our democracy stronger in many different ways. When citizens can observe the working of a government, they become more invested in what government does. Government openness empowers citizens as well, as they are more able to express their views about policies that affect them. So in the end, open data can lead to open government and allow citizen participation, collaboration, and government transparency. Today, according to White House, 40 states, 45 cities, 45 countries participate in open data, open government initiatives. By publicizing data, public can use and create information. In fact, public might process and enrich the information by combining it with other sources. The opening of data provides the opportunity for creating feedback loops in which government can learn from the public. So now we have covered a little bit of a background and history of open data and open government initiatives. And now I would like to move on to the next part of my presentation, which is the Kansas City, Missouri Open Data Initiative. This is the initiative formed by City of Kansas City, Missouri to make city-generated data available for public use without any restrictions. As a matter of fact, the first piece of data that Kansas City, Missouri published on their website was the line item budget. On the next slide, I have listed out some of the categories of data published on the web and could be useful to many groups. This information includes budget as well as other financial information, business information, crime trends, property and business license information. Throughout my presentation, I have mentioned several benefits of open data. However, we can combine this into three main categories. First, political and social benefits. Second, economic benefits. And third, operational benefits. The opening of data in Kansas City created economic benefits like stimulating innovation and promoting economic growth. Open data in Kansas City has political and social benefits that include more transparency, democratic accountability, creation of trust in government, and improve citizen satisfaction. And finally, operational benefits include the ability to reuse open data without having to collect the same data again. It gives an easy access to the data, and more importantly, it creates a sustainability of the data going forward into the future. So now we have learned about the background as well as some of the benefits of open data. So how do you use and how do you view this publicly available data in Kansas City? Well, first, you can go to their website, which is data.kcmo.org. On their main webpage, you can access many different data sets, which includes budgets, 311 calls, traffic counts, crime data on the various neighborhoods. And then what you can do is you can export, you can visualize, filter, and save this data. So let's look at one of the examples. Let's say you would like to know, well, how does Kansas City spend their funds on, and what do they spend their funds on? Well, what you can do is you can type in checkbook in a search bar, and it will bring up several hits. Then you can go on each one of those links and bring up a more expanded view. From this point, what you can do, there's several options. You can either visualize the data or you can export it. In this case, I'd like to export this data into Excel and manipulate the data from there. What I've done is I downloaded the 3 different years of payments to different vendors of Kansas City. And what I found that in 2011, 2012, and 2013, Kansas City roughly spent $1.2 billion. And their main spending went on the salaries to keep the city going, as well as capital improvements and Kansas City Airport. And the last point that I would like to leave you with would be that Kansas City, along with other big metropolitan cities like New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, are taking active approach in opening up and disclosing their data to the public and moving toward ultimate goal of creating open government. So at this time, I'd like to conclude my presentation and thank you for your time.